So after all this time, the ANC has finally decided who will lead its, well, structures. And what is it to say, Byron? I don't really care. Same old commie bastards that's going to ruin us as the previous commie bastards that are going to ruin us. So I don't know how long this video will be. Maybe very short.
Yeah, so this is the news that Ramaphosa won his second term. So Ramaphosa is now back, I suppose. And it's funny that the journo class themselves are now all saying, well, he's going to have to step up to the plate. But in stepping up to the plate, he's not going to be able to say, well, I didn't have the full backing of the ANC now. He's supposedly fully in charge, which means, as we said, everything that would occur, he's going to have to take responsibility for it. So he can't hide behind it. So, as the commie bastards caused the problem in the first place, the commie bastards clearly have a plan to get us out of this, right? And the plan is not to do what they did that got us in it. Nah, that's not the ANC way. The ANC way is, commie bastards got us into this problem. You know how we get out of this. We be a commie bastard harder.
Yeah, so we'll get to the policy of the ANC in a video for tomorrow, probably. But let's look at who's actually in charge. So Ramaphosa is the president. Deputy president is from the Annex Mafia, Paul Mashatile. So Paul Mashatile was a treasurer of the ANC for a long time, and he was also acting secretary general. At his time as treasurer, people didn't get paid their salaries, and as his time as secretary general, they were losing membership like there was no tomorrow. So an inspired choice for the ANC, no doubt someone who is, as Julius Malema said, dumb enough to work with the EFF. So I've got nothing more to say about Paul Mashatile other than if that's the best you got, I would hate to see it worse. As for Chairperson, it's Uncle Gwede Mantashe, who was wearing skinny jeans at the conference. There were a few photos on Twitter, which are a bit unbecoming of a 85-year-old, or however old he is. I don't really care. So Gwede is the chairperson of the ANC. Staunch Cyril ally, and nothing more to say, really, on that front. Secretary General, my favorite one. This is like, the CEO of the party. It's Mr. Fix Fokkol, the guy. He doesn't fix anything. Fikile Mbalula, he's been Minister of Police. He's ruined that. Minister of Sport, he ruined that. Minister of Transport, he's ruined that as well. So now they put utmost faith in the person who has ruined everything that he touches. So no doubt that state of play will continue within the ANC because Mr. Fix Fokkol is now the Secretary General of the ANC, which is arguably the most important position within the ANC. So they decided to give it to this guy.
Yeah, and for those of you who want to know what was his first day on the job like, well, as Paul, who's the spokesperson of the ANC, also said, don't call me up, guys, I'm not doing this again. I had enough of it the first time. It obviously all falls to Mr. Fix Fokkol to do all of the announcements. And so yesterday he told all the journos that he would be doing a press release for the NEC announcing some very important decisions later on in the day. And as News 24 reported at over 10 o'clock at night, the press release didn't happen. So we can already see that Mr. Fix Fokkol is getting off to a flying start by making announcements that he never intends to actually do.
Yeah, then they created something new. Well, no, so they created the first Deputy Secretary General, then the second Deputy Secretary General. So the first one is Nomvula Mokonyane, very well known for ordering braai packs and beer cases from Bosasa. Also, never saw a corrupt tender that she didn't love. But unlike others, she's really cheap. You just send her like a braai pack of Woolies meat and, you got it in your pocket. So she's the first Secretary General. And the second one is Gwen Ramahopa, who I have no idea who that is, nor do I care to find out. So if you're here for the facts, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, I did actually look up who this person was. So this person's actually a commie. Who knew? They actually serve on the board of a communist body. So, I wonder why they're there. With that being said, it's rather interesting to note that Cyril did say that what he wanted the top six to do is have this ethno-diversity. Because apparently that's what they want now. It's all about and Cyril did say it during his speech, the LGBTQ+, which when he said it just sounded fuck funny, man. But anyway, when Cyril said it, he said that's what they wanted to do, and they wanted to have diversity in their cabinet, which is why obviously the majority of them are men. But how they've done this is they've created some additional party positions whereby they can go one white or one woman, one male. But what they obviously never do is they go one white, one black. I didn't see that in the ANC's NEC. Like, I looked around for the only white at the conference, which would have obviously been Cole Niehaus, and he was outside, apparently at a petrol station. There were many jokes going around on Twitter asking whether or not he had actually got himself a job as a petrol attendant. But no, apparently he was standing across the road with Ace Magashula and Ndili Sisulu, all having their own little picket of ANC must fall, which, if we had known that was happening, like we all would have been there.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. So in terms of they want representation in terms of LGBTQ plus, or as we call them, the alphabet people. Which one of these are LGBT? Apparently, it's Mr. Fix Fokkol. Apparently, there's been a few rumors that he likes to dally around, if you know what I mean. So maybe he's the representation of the LGBTQ plus alphabet community on this board. I do notice that diversity for them means everyone's black,
Have you noticed that?
which I
Wow, I
suppose,
mean,
yeah,
I hear that there's this thing called BEE, and BEE in the country means that we should have representation of all the people. I mean, it is only 80% of the population that is black, which does mean that there should have been 20% representation of, other ethnicities on the board. But, rules for thee, but not for me. Typical commie way.
yeah, very much so. So, what is the future of the ANC under this diverse LGBTQ plus friendly top seven? I think I've got greater hopes of Joe Biden having an IQ of 100 than this shambles.
I think I've got more hope of Joe Biden not shitting himself.
That's just a rumor. Only the Pope can say whether it happened.
Nah, everybody needs to take comfort from this. Guys, take it to heart. Mr. Fix Fokkol is the CEO. If we know anything about this guy's track record, the NC's finished. It's finished. They've then got a commie with the mentality and IQ of nothing going, I know how to improve the ANC's finances. We'll commie harder. Like, yeah. Like, okay, that's going to help your well, whatever. It's going to help you collect funds, like, clearly. And then they've got a deputy president that's looking at the main president thinking, I'm coming for your job. Because these guys actually, Paul Mashatile was not Cyril's pick. Cyril actually wanted someone else. So when he got Paul Mashatile, it's like, shit, this didn't really work out for him. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happened. The one thing that I did notice, Shimon, which I think we can talk about very briefly, is that this was very much a conference of the north of the country versus the south of the country. If you looked at Ramaphosa's support, it was mainly Eastern Cape downwards. If you looked at Mkhize's support, it was mainly Natal upwards. And that in itself is going to be interesting because what it means is that the parties now, the first thing that Cyril came out and said is, fall in line and follow me or else, don't know what. Because apparently we've even seen now, like, apparently Andile Lungisi has been elected to the NEC. I mean, he's expelled from the party and he's not actually on the ballots, but hey, he's there anyway. So expelled or what, I don't know. But apparently everybody has to get behind him now so that he can, I don't know, call me on? Don't know. But what this does mean is that you can see that the factions are getting deeper to the point where the factions just mean we're probably going to have devolution from one of the northern provinces way before the Western Cape does.